Welcome, everybody. It's time for another installment of Jay's Analysis. I'm Jay Dyer. This is Jamie Dyer. Jamie Henshaw Dyer. Jamie Dash Henshaw. That sounds like the boomers that get divorced and keep their name.
Yeah. It's my stage name. Jamie Henshaw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, divorce boomer. Welcome to the next installment of Moonfall. What if disaster movies have been trolling us the whole time and it's meta? Disaster movie is telling you the movie's a disaster.
Yeah.
It would seem like they're trolling us because every disaster movie is a disaster.
It's a disaster of a movie. Right?
The movie is a disaster.
I know. It's a disaster of a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a disaster movie.
Yep.
And we've never done a disaster movie. Now, we've done apocalypse movies. There's overlap between these blessed genres, right?
Mm-hmm. There's lots of explosions in both.
How would you rather go out via a F5 twister with, oh man, Bill Paxton, man, we're dead meat, man. There's flying cows, man. Remember the cows flying?
Yeah.
And Helen Hunt, or would you rather go out with Tommy Lee Moans and his yapping the whole freaking movie Volcano?
Yeah. Do it.
I don't even
he
know.
Just barks orders the whole time.
I don't recall any lines. Just barking.
Yeah.
He sounds like a toned down Charles Manson.
Kind of.
A redneck Charles Manson.
He totally.
When y'all gonna give me that damn thing? And why is the redneck dude bossing everybody in LA around? Nobody in LA is gonna listen to some redneck dude bossing them around.
He's like FEMA before they were FEMA.
That's true. This is a propaganda movie, we noticed. It's the Office of Emergency Management.
So we're talking about Volcano 1997. That's what we're starting out with.
I'd never seen this piece of junk, by the way.
It is pure 90s action cheese formula.
This movie is so dumb, it is
Algorithm.
actually entertaining. I mean, you will laugh at this dialogue because Tommy Lee Jones apparently didn't know what either lava or magma were. Because he asked about 4 times in the movie. He's like, let's get that, whatever it is, out of the way.
He's FEMA and he doesn't know what lava is.
What 4th grader doesn't know what lava is, man?
Okay, yeah.
Because remember, he goes, we'll get that, whatever it is. And they're like, lava?
No.
And then later he's like...
She said, it's magma. And he goes, what's magma?
No, but then later he goes, we'll get that whatever it is.
Yeah.
And she goes, lava.
Yeah. He's like having a hard time processing that this red crap that shoot out of the ground.
For some reason.
He doesn't know exactly what it is.
This glowing hot jelly that's coming out of Mama Earth is just mind-blowing to Tommy Lee Jones. He can't process it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what it is the whole time. It's like, dude, it's lava, man. Who doesn't know what lava is? Maybe they think people in the South that we're all so dumb we don't even know what the hell's lava?
It's moving all slow.
The Earth is spitting out hot jelly. Like, that's what people in California think. Everybody in the South thinks that the Earth spits out hot jelly. Hot jelly going to destroy the whole damn town. Watch out for that hot jelly. Anyway.
We noticed some things that are present in all of the disaster movies. Like, you've always got the estranged couple, right?
Yes. There's always a single mom or a single dad.
Mom and dad are broken up, and there's a stepdad, and he's a better dad, but the real dad has to rescue the world to prove that he's an adequate man because he's been taken over.
Single moms are going to save the world from the apocalypse.
She's not single anymore. She's got stepdad.
No, Halle Berry.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Halle Berry.
But see, Halle Berry was estranged from her general husband in Moonfall.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She's a single mom.
Right.
Anyway, so back to Volcano.
Okay, so Volcano.
And you think you saw this in the theater? I never saw this movie.
Yeah, probably as a teenager, like 97. We lived down like a block away from a dollar theater.
Yeah.
I saw every movie there ever was, from 95 to 2005.
You and Pee Wee, right? Went to the same theater back in the 90s.
Yeah.
You sure about that? Do you remember that? You don't know the scandal of Pee Wee?
Yes, I do. That's so gross, dude.
You went to the same theaters as Pee-wee? Did you say hi?
That was the only one in my town.
I'm tempted to do my Pee-wee, but I'm not going to do Pee-wee right now. That's no good. Anyway, so Tommy Lee Jones, though, is... why we got people that don't know what lava is running FEMA? I mean, what? But this is pre-FEMA. FEMA doesn't exist yet, but I think this is probably prepping us for it.
Tommy Lee Jones has to prove that he's not a failure of a person. And...
Well, every disaster movie protagonist man
Yes.
is cynical and has to find his ball sack somewhere, which he has lost in the history of his traumas and dramas. Right?
And yeah, and the single dad always has to sacrifice himself for the good of the family so they can get back together.
Yeah, the only thing that brings people out of divorce is natural disasters that end the world. Right. That's the only thing that can end a divorce. So what solve a divorce?
This starts with an earthquake. And then the whatever it was starts bubbling up out of the ground. Right?
It's called lava.
No.
Magma. You know what those are?
Firebombs are raining down on Los Angeles.
Jamie Lee Jones over here. She can't remember the lava. Yes, and then Anne Hesh explains to us what lava bombs are. Like everything gets explained in disaster movies as if the audience are all fourth graders. Like how dumb do they think the entire audience is? Like explaining what's that? Right? Oh, it's a lava bomb. Mm-hmm. Oh, a lava bomb. Yeah, okay. Sure.
She's the beautiful, courageous geologist.
Yeah, so many science women, right, running shit.
Are lovely and brave enough to stand against the creeping lava with Tommy Lee Jones. That's creeping like 1 mile an hour, guys. 1 mile an hour.
But the best part is when they start talking about the lava like it's a creature that's attacking. Right? Tommy Lee Jones.
It was an attacking creature because
it howls.
When they sprayed it with water, it would go no. Yeah. And then.
So I'm detecting elements of the Blob in this. Yeah. I think they were like, let's not do the Blob. Just make the Blob hot, right? Hot Blob is all this movie is.
Yeah.
And it's even like the Blob where it's like gradually coming, right? And they just keep moving back. And then Tommy Lee Jones gets the idea to create a basin to like shove it all off. And he draws a picture. And the funny thing is that his picture looks like a pee-pee, like clearly. You know?
This is my plan to save Los Angeles. It looks like a D-I-C-K.
His plan is a giant weenus.
Yeah.
And you know they had to be sitting there laughing. Like I can't imagine on set when he's drawing a giant.
We've got this.
Like, that's your plan.
Area right here and this right here. Yeah. That was funny.
So the aqueduct, it takes them like, 2 days to figure out the aqueduct?
Yeah. Don Cheadle was in this. Who else?
Remember Anne Hesh? I had forgotten about her.
Yeah.
She was a big deal because of Ellen.
Gabby, what's her name? Gabby Hoffman?
I don't know.
That was the teenager who was useless at first, and she had to learn responsibilities.
Well, I'm glad you noticed those positive after-school messages there, Jamie. Like, well, she did.
Because she had to follow that little kid into the building that was going to be bombed, and then Tommy Lee Jones had to run through the rubble and save them at the last minute.
Yeah, which was reminiscent, oddly enough, of a Big Nine event. So
oh yeah, because
this is pre-Big Nine. Yeah,
they had to do a controlled demolition.
So they do
in
this
20 minutes.
In 20 minutes, and it's very. I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of nine event ish.
Yep.
Not that there's any direct, references to the Big Nine event, but it's a mass disaster movie, and they suddenly figure out, that they're gonna have to do a. We're gonna have to pull it.
Yeah.
I called it a bullet. And I gave the call a bullet.
Yep.
So Tommy Lee Jones, bullet. He says, bullet. He barks and yaps the whole. It's like watching a movie with like the Taco Bell dog as the main star, just barking the whole time, like a yappy little chihuahua.
I never noticed.
Tommy Lee Jones, a chihuahua.
How much he talks like Charles Manson? That's crazy.
And he talks like Larry Nichols. Mm-hmm. He talks like a less deep Larry Nichols. So I've tried it. I know everybody wants me to do a Tommy Lee Jones. I can't get it. I don't know why. He's got such a weird voice. You would think with being able to do Larry Nichols and being from the South, Tommy Lee Jones would be easy, but something about his voice is really weird because it's very Southern, but it's not deep. But it's gravelly. It's a weird mix of gravelly voice that's not deep. Cause it's like this. Well, hell, give me that. Do this, do that, damn it. Listen to me. Yap, yap, yap.
Yeah.
What's that stuff called? But it doesn't sound like him. But that's how high his voice is as it's gravelly. It's weird.
That's true. It's high and gravelly. Do you remember him in the one with Harrison Ford, Fugitive, when he's just
I don't care.
Yeah, barking orders half the movie, right?
Tater salad. It almost sounds like Ron White when I'm doing it.
He was,
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. Remember?
Yeah, he's always like the head of a...
He's running a task force of
yeah.
something and yelling. That's literally, they were like, Tommy Lee Jones, we have a future for you in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You are going to run a task force and yell and bark orders, and that will be what you are typecast as, of all the things to be typecast as.
He can be a good NFL coach. Or play a coach in a movie.
Well, he's coaching the people in this movie.
I know.
It's like Team Humans versus Team Lava. It's like a football game.
Yeah.
He's over there quarterbacking it, and I'm like, didn't he play a quarterback or like the coach of something?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure he's the coach, and he has to be the coach in some football movie. All the film buffs in the audience, tell us
Type
what.
it in, and if he's not,
I don't even know if this movie exists. I'm just saying there has to be a movie with Tommy Lee Jones as a coach.
If he's not a coach in a movie, Hollywood, what are you even doing?
Billy Bob doesn't have as gravelly. People are saying it sounds like Billy Bob. Not
I want to see a movie with Tommy Lee Jones and that other, who's the kid that looks just like him? Who's in the Alien Teacher movie?
Josh Hartnett?
Yes.
Yeah, he looks like
Josh Hartnett is
Josh
the
Hartnett's
young
dad.
and Tommy Lee Jones is the old.
Allergies driving
That's
crazy.
gotta exist also.
Does anybody know is he the coach in Any Given Sunday? I can't remember. Or is he the coach in the?
He's a protector of cheerleaders. Tommy Lee Jones sounds like Billy
funny.
Bob Thornton, kinda.
I was just replying to that. Yeah. You don't listen to what I say.
Because I'm thinking
Jamie's
about million
dialoguing
things.
with you guys and has me tuned out. It's funny.
Tommy is bad for your vocal cords, I guess.
It is, man. I'm trying
Like Jesse Ventura gets you in the vocals too.
I'm not gonna do Jesse Ventura. I almost did, but I'm not going to. Why are you stealing the coffee, man? All right, so
Josh Hartnett has apparently left Hollywood. Oh, okay.
I just call him Tommy Lee Moans because all he does throughout the whole movie, any movie he's in, is yap a bunch of angry orders. And I'm just like, Tommy Lee Jones, you need to chill out, man. Maybe more people would listen to your orders if you spoke in a kind, respectful voice and tone.
I don't know. It was pretty chaotic. They needed his
Anyway.
Tommy Lee. Well, the gem...
There's a couple other points in this movie that we forgot.
Well, I thought the takeaway gem from this was when you said lava is Gaia's diarrhea.
It had that theme, and they spoke of it in a very unsettling, bubble guts way.
Yeah. It's diarrhea.
And she called it diarrhea. I said, okay, that's better. Yes, that's how this movie treats the lava. Another thing I noticed right away was everybody smoking in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a lot of product placement for Marlboro, which was weird because this must have been right on the cusp of when you could no longer do that. Because you could advertise product placement. Mm-hmm. I remember when I was a kid and even up into teenager, there would be cigarette ads on TV. That's long gone. But did you notice when that was? Because it couldn't be too long after this where you couldn't have anything cigarettes in movies.
Right. Yeah, it must have been around the 2000s where they passed, like, you couldn't have billboard for cigarettes, and they had to put on the pack, like, this is harmful and all those warnings.
Because they had these lawsuits arguing that they were marketed to kids.
Yeah, because, like, Joe Camel and... Yeah.
So that was probably, 98, 99? It has to be right around the time of Volcano.
Yeah.
But I wonder, is the smoking of the volcano, is that like all the references early in the movie to smoking, is that referencing the coming smoke of the, because basically LA just turns into a big fire pit.
Yeah, maybe so.
Anyway, this movie is garbage, except it's
How many
terrible.
lava bombs do you give this lava bomb?
This movie is a lava bomb. I mean, in every sense of the words, lava bomb. I mean, it's only fun if you're looking for a howler to watch.
Yes.
That's bad. But Tommy Lee Jones's character is so ridiculous, and there's so many things in this movie that are ridiculous that it's actually pretty funny.
Okay, one of my top 3 scenes was the guy who was actually addicted to cigarettes and who walked around with a nicotine patch on his neck and a cigarette behind his ear. He was saving a person, and he had them around his shoulders. And he tries to leap over the lava, but he fails miserably, leaps right into the lava, and he starts to sink in the lava, and then he like yeets the guy past the lava.
But he's not burning.
He's a hero.
He's just sinking into
the...
He's sinking into it like it's
like Terminator.
Like it's quicksand.
Like Terminator at the end, where he's like,
as if your whole body wouldn't be in flames, right? Like you just kind of sink down into it like an inch at a time. That's how lava works.
That was a good scene.
But I'm watching that scene, and I was like, is that why he smoked so much in the first half of the movie? And they kept making cigarette jokes because he was the only guy that could go into the tunnel and get because of the smoke. I mean, why it was this guy, I don't know. Like the cigarette guy is the hero, but he sacrifices his life, I guess, because he had nothing to live for, because he couldn't kick smoking. That's they kept referencing this, and throughout the movie, that he couldn't kick smoking. Anyway, so I do not recommend Volcano unless you are in the mood for one of the worst disaster movies I've ever seen.
90s.
This movie cost $90 million and made $120 million, so it did not do well. And it is extremely formulaic to a T. Nothing interesting or unique enough with this. I will say, though, that they put a lot of money into it. So for the 90s, $90 million, this was probably attempted to be a summer blockbuster and barely made a profit.
What I liked about it is before CGI, so they had to actually make things look like they were happening without computers. The creeping lava.
So he's like an inch from Manson, right? Tommy Lee Manson, dude.
Yeah.
Charlie Lee Jones.
Puppy Lee Jones.
I'm going to start a theme in my mind. You don't have to listen to me. Now, there's a disaster, there's a volcano in my mind. It's a third eye sprout now. Like a damn pimple. Mama Earth's got a pimple and start burning out. I'm running FEMA now. Listen to what I say.
Say diarrhea in it.
Now, y'all, Mama's got a bad case. Mama Earth's got a bad case of diarrhea.
I mean, that doesn't sound anything like Tommy Lee Jones, but it's still kind of funny. He's got a weird voice. I'm telling you, it's weird. I don't know.
The sequel is called Volcanoes? No way.
The sequel is Volcano.
Oh, yeah.
Volcano.
No.
That's the sequel.
That's funny.
Yeah, so
okay, moving on.
Yeah, 2012.
Yeah.
This is Roland Emmerich. I don't know how or why, but he does all the disaster movies. He's just like, go to that guy for the disasters.
If I had remembered San Andreas, I would have wanted to add that because it's also very stupid.
Yes, I've seen it.
That the Rock
rides
a giant tsunami wave with a sea-doo.
He rides a tsunami with a sea-doo.
But
this is so dumb, dude.
All
of this
is
just
decided
garbage.
to make some notes of 2012 by memory because we've both seen it so many times. And so this is, again, John Cusack, single dad, estranged from, what's her name?
It's John Cusack. John Cusack. Old John Cusack. He's watching right now. He's mad. John Cusack.
Don't be mad.
John
Everyone's
Cusack's
a coon.
mad. Tom Coombe, John Cusack. They're all.
Nicholas Coombe.
They said, don't feel bad about it. I was trying to see what. So Roland Emmerich has done like infinite numbers of disaster movies, and I was trying to see what all of them are. So listen to this. Moonfall. Mm-hmm. He did Independence Day, 2012, 10,000 BC, Day After Tomorrow, Godzilla, the 1998 Godzilla, that's a disaster movie. Eye of the Storm, I don't know if that's a disaster. So, look, he's even done a thing on the Noah's Ark. He did a documentary or something on
In space?
No, it's a movie. It's about the Ark.
It's Noah's Ark in space.
And he keeps putting this theme in the disaster movies. So he must know about the elite's continuity of government Project Noah plan, right? Because here's an old Roland Emmerich movie that I've never heard of called The Noah's Ark Principle. We got to watch that. Because the Ark theme is in 2012.
Okay, disaster movies part 2, because we have to do San Andreas, Noah's Ark Principle.
We got to do Hillary Swank going into the middle of Mama Earth. Going down
I hate that one.
Going in Mama Earth's
It's
guts.
so stupid. It looks like a giant turd traveling to the center of the earth.
It's Mama Earth's guts.
No.
What do you expect? That movie is terrible too. Yeah, I mean,
The Core.
I remember going to see The Core, and it starts with like ELF, VL. It's something about harp. Something comes up like all the birds start dying, and they mention electromagnetic issues. And they're like, what is it?
Because the core of the earth stopped spinning.
Oh, that's right.
Because of something we did caused the solid nickel ball to stop spinning.
Oh, so you gotta restart it like an engine.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, 2012. So John Cusack is an author, and
conspiracy writer.
No.
Yes, he is.
Conspiracies?
His book's on Atlantis.
I thought it was like philosophy kind of stuff.
No, it's on Atlantis. That's why I was saying that his book about Atlantis is foreshadowing because it's a civilization that was destroyed.
Okay, so Woody Harrelson is also a conspiracy guy in this.
Right.
And then he's a mediocre writer. He's down on his luck. And the whole world starts splitting apart.
Right. So within 10 minutes, right, the
Yeah.
end of the world comes pretty quick in this movie. The whole movie is, fast paced, much like Moonfall. What?
I'm remembering his limo driving skills gets his family out of Los Angeles before they're all sucked into a giant sinkhole. The San Andreas fault happens.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm trying to remember, though. I'm pretty sure, isn't John Cusack's character an author who's written about Atlantis?
His book,
You're saying
the
no.
title of his book is Atlantis something, but I thought it was more of a philosophical thing because he was telling somebody, the president's daughter or something, and
Yeah.
she's like, "You're a good author," and at the end of the movie, his book is one of the books that make it on the Ark. And so he has an influence on civilization only by chance because he talks about synchronicity and stuff like that.
But he meets at Yellowstone. He meets Woody Harrelson.
Yes.
And I remember at the time when 2012 came out that Woody Harrelson's doing a broadcast like Alex, and Alex was talking about, folks, if you go see 2012, Woody Harrelson is me. That's me. He's playing me, folks.
Yeah.
I was like, he's totally playing Alex.
And that has the Yellowstone volcano exploding.
Yes, which we went and saw a few months ago.
Right. And that thing, it might explode because all of that stuff is coming up out of the ground
That place
all the
is
time.
weird, yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole place smells like sulfur. Half of it's dead.
From bark beetles.
The water is bubbling up, boiling all the time. And if you touch the water, it will shock you. That was the weird part.
Yeah. What was that called? Rainbow
The
springs?
rainbow geyser.
Yeah. And if you reach down and put your finger in, it'll zap you like when you...
It's electrified.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Okay, so Woody Harrelson bites the dust at Yellowstone, and he knew all along, and he knew about the elite's plans, and that the elite knew...
And he had conspiracy YouTube videos, remember?
Yes.
Explaining what was going to happen.
And he was like, the elites know this is going to happen, and so he was right about everything.
There's always a conspiracy character in these Roland Emmerich disasters. Mm-hmm. Like the nerdy guy in Moonfall.
Yeah.
Jon Snow's Sam.
Yeah. What was that one? We did a show on it. And the tech team ended up being like an Australian girl and a fat guy and
Dude, every movie has a diverse tech team cast. So there's no. That's like every one of them. What do you mean?
Maybe someone in the chat will know just from that, because all of these movies are getting jumbled up in my head like spaghetti, and because they all have so many things in common. Anyway,
It's just a formula they spit out, and the tech team is always a diversity lottery.
I'm going on your notes. Jesus and Vatican collapse.
Yeah, there's interesting symbolism that he chose in this movie to have the religious centers collapse. So you see, is it Brazil? Where's that big Jesus statue?
Rio de Janeiro.
Rio's Jesus statue collapses. You see the Vatican collapse. And then you notice that the secrets of the Ark are in like the Himalayas, the Buddhist monasteries, which harkens to, I don't know, like Blavatsky type stuff, like new civilizations into civilization.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That references Blavatsky stuff and they specifically have that Tibetan Buddhist monk is a character in the movie. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And isn't that where some of the elite arcs are?
He's the one that gets them into the ark at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So salvation ends up coming through the mysteries of Atlantis and Blavatsky, right? And Christianity collapses because the civilization, because it's another version of Noah's Ark is what this is.
And we were just talking about Transformers, High View. Thank you. That's the one. Remember? Wiki.
Witwiki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Nathaniel Witwiki. That's my good. I do a good Optimus Prime. What can I say?
we were talking about Robert Anton Wilson.
I know, because you didn't know that Terrence McKenna and Robert Anton Wilson were promoting the 2012 crap way before 2012. And I think it's either in Prometheus Rising or the other Robert Anton Wilson book where he first says, the year 2012 is going to be a massive consciousness shift. And then Terrence McKenna was even saying it too back at that time.
There's going to be a shift in 2012 that will revolutionize the way that we all think and look at reality.
Yeah, I went to this weird conference in like 2008 called ESO Zone in Portland, and Terrence McKenna's brother was a speaker, and he was talking about that.
Yeah.
Back in
Dennis.
Yes.
Yes.
Dennis McKenna. And yeah, they were talking about consciousness shift in 2012, and then you had that Daniel Pinchbeck book.
Mm-hmm. So then all these books come out in 2012.
And then all the like Gaia dudes were jumped on the 2012.
I'm a Gaia dude.
Session. No, you're not. I'm glad you're not.
I haven't had a TV show on
I
that,
know
so I'm a Gaia dude.
But
so.
you're not.
Am I a snag? A
No.
sensitive new age guy? A snag?
No.
When the moon is in the house of the zodiac. I'm a snag. I'm a sensitive new age man.
Yep. No, you're not.
There's a rainbow around the moon. Remember that one?
You
See, I'm a
actually do
snag
like
now.
her. What's that name?
I don't like her.
What's that girl's name?
It's a nobody. What do you mean?
No,
It's not a thing.
the lady that sings the America song.
That's not the hippies singing the rainbow around the moon.
Oh.
There's a rainbow around the moon. That's a drum circle of hippies being dumb. And then you're talking about Gaia tossing.
Gaia tossing.
Yes. America, open your heart and see. Open your heart, America.
Your vision
Is what you need.
Yes.
So this was part. If you guys remember, Everything Is Terrible. I almost did an interview with them. I don't ever know what happened to that. I need to reach out to those guys again. I don't know if Gaia Tossing's America is still on here. Hopefully it is. I might have to type in Everything Is Terrible. I wish I could play it. It is.
Open your heart, America.
I'm afraid if I play it though, yeah, see, she's got it on her channel.
Oh.
That's not even the Everything Is Terrible video. Here's the actual video though. If you want to see something awesome, watch this. So, you're welcome.
He used to play this
You're
for
welcome.
me every morning. When he
You
first
and-
woke up, he would put this song on.
You and your loved ones, I have bequeathed this gift to you. Enjoy annoying one another to madness with this Gaia tossing classic.
Yeah.
And if you've not seen the other one, The Rainbow Around the Moon, this is also another one of the classics that you will thank me for. Next time you guys are around your drum circle, and in order to avoid the moon falling, you must sing this song. You must do it as a daily chant every morning, or else the moon will fall. So that, if you want to know what I was singing earlier, there you go. There's a rainbow around the moon. That's it. That's all there is to that song. It's like
You are kind
it's praise and worship. It's like new age praise and worship, isn't it? It's the
Yes.
hippie equivalent of evangelicals doing praise and worship.
Yes, because didn't I ever tell you that story when I first went to Austin and I was used to going to church and I stopped going to church.
You went to a drum
I
circle?
started going to meetings of, I don't know, weird people, but it was just like a Bible study. It was run exactly the same. We sing and then we talk.
But it was a new age thing.
It was like about Ron Paul and awakening.
Oh, okay.
So it was alternative politics / new age
Interesting.
stuff.
Let's channel the spirit of Ron Paul.
But I was like sitting
Federal
there,
Reserve. I think we need to go after the Federal Reserve. Well,
and,
let's go after the Federal Reserve.
and the program of the meeting was run exactly like a Bible study or a home church or something. I was like, I just went from one thing to a stupider thing.
You went to a Ron Paul meditation center.
Yeah.
Ron's in dental meditation. Right?
That's pretty much.
Well, just to focus your third eye. Maybe we can beat the Federal Reserve. I think we need to audit the Federal Reserve if we just meditate.
That sums up Austin, Texas in 2009. The
Well,
Ron Paul Meditation Center.
The Ron Paul Meditation Center.
Yeah.
So 2012 progresses with this Noah's Ark theme. Again, something that we're noticing in a lot of the elite films. Breakaway Civilization. This is a Breakaway Civilization movie. And his book, as we said, I just realized this time around thinking about it. Oh, it's about it. Pretty sure it's about Atlantis because it's foreshadowing.
Do you know what I forgot about 2012? Is what causes the cataclysm anyway? Was it just major earthquakes or was it magnetic fields being weird?
The North Pole went away. Like the North
Pole shift,
The
that
poles
was
just
it.
left.
Pole
They just
shift.
left. They're like, we're out of here, dude.
Yes.
This planet sucks. So the poles just skip town, man.
Man, those poles are
Like a single daddy.
a liability because everyone else. Remember in the 90s and the 2000s, it was all about the polar ice caps melting.
Yeah, which always ties into classic conspiracy crap, right? Anytime you're hearing about the ELE, right? That's so 2007 conspiracy.
Oh yeah.
Remember when FEMA was preparing for an ELE, right? And there's still conspiracy websites now that put out the FEMA is preparing secretly for the ELE, right? They prepare all the time for drills. It's not like there's a drill every month for some stupid thing.
But yeah, like you said in the beginning, Atlantis, the cataclysm killed Atlantis, but a remnant survived, and
Right.
that became secret societies.
Yes.
And so this is what they were hinting at in the end of the John Cusack movie, is that his book and his ideas are going to go forward into the future when everything else was lost.
The irony being the failed writer's book becomes the foundations of a new civilization.
Through chance and chaos and synchronicity and other mystical...
Let us all thank you, John Cusack.
Okay, so... Oh, there was the Russian family, the guy who was...
Yuri.
Yeah.
Yuri Gorblov.
And his trophy wife and his awful kid. And so he was a caricature of the elite and the greedy who
The Russian billionaire.
were able to buy tickets on the Ark.
The Russian oligarch.
Yeah. And he got his comeuppance in the end for being a nasty. And the doggy made it into the future, so I was happy about that.
Well, these breakaway civilization movies are always about depopulation and the elite having some way out, right? So in this one, they have Noah's Arks. There's literally like 12 or 10 arcs in the Himalayas, and you had to pay to get on. So the only people that survive are like Russian oligarchs, Saudi billionaires, and John Kumzak somehow,
and
government people,
and the crew and the scientists. So you need.
Oh, that's right. Scientists now go into the future. No one else, right?
The scientists are
They're invaluable.
priest class, and then the crew is the working class, and then you have your elite still sitting on the cream.
So the new civilization that emerges is like a tiered society of elites and a slave class, and they will keep the population low so that they can have the planet. Interesting.
And so this is the Georgia Guidestone's dream.
This is more. Well, this is more than that because.
But it's not even 500 million.
No, this is like 5,000 people
Yeah.
make it. Like it's too bad. 99.9%.
Well, but if 5,000 survive, then they can manage the population this time under 500 million. So
Sure.
it can grow a little bit, but then we're gonna have to cut it off.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe the robots or anything. This doesn't have any robots in it though. So.
No.
Yeah, 2012 is pretty bad too. I mean, it's pretty bad.
It's not as bad as Volcano or Santa.
No, it's better than Volcano, and it's better than San Andreas. But tonight's feature presentation was the best of the disaster movies, and it is also a piece of dog shite. But it's a fun piece of dog shite, and it's called Moonfall. It's the new Roland Emmerich disaster movie in the theaters.
Do you want to say that one till last?
Aren't we on it?
Moonfall?
Yeah.
No, we gotta do the,
Oh,
the
I
day
forgot about
after.
I forgot about
dun. This
the Goot.
gem of a movie,
Steve Gutenberg.
1983, The Day After. Day after what?
So this is a TV movie that is one of the biggest disaster movies because it scared the crap out of everybody, and it was intended to. It was Cold War propaganda that, for some reason, scared 100 million boomers. For TV ratings, that is unheard of. 100 million people watched The Day After when it premiered on TV, and it scared the crap out of everyone. This movie, by the way, is laughably bad. And you go and watch these things now, just like Alternative 3, which people believed and got scared about. And it's like, how did that scare you? I mean, that was just
So, yeah, this movie was so negative and scary for back then that they couldn't even sell the commercial time for it. However, when it aired, it got super lots of views because it was macabre and
It was
everyone was talking about it.
it's like The Road for people before The Road.
Yes.
You know how dismal and like just nihilistic The Road is? This was
Yeah,
like
it was-
network TV making everybody just like scared out of their wits over a ridiculous scenario, by the way.
So the scenario was we were bombed by
No. So this is when East Germany was still an issue. I remember being a kid, you would hear the stories of people fleeing East Germany to West Germany and sneaking under or over the wall, right? You hear all these stories about the wall. And by that way, that was all engineered and set up by the elite anyway. But so this is prior to the fall of the wall and all that. And the story is that as a conflict over East and West Germany sets off the nuclear war, aka World War III.
And this kind of reminded me of War of the Worlds and the other movie Alternative 3.
It is like alternative. Now, no, guys, not The Day After Tomorrow. We didn't do that one because I hate that movie. I
Not
really
Jake
hate. I
Gyllenhaal.
refuse to watch that movie. I just hate it so much. I saw it in the theater, so I've had my fill of it.
Yeah.
Now, this is the 1983 Reagan era propaganda film, The Day After. Different movie, but
was a
but
television-
one of the most famous disaster movies.
Yeah. Okay, so this took place in Lawrence, Kansas, which
Which was funny because you live in.
yeah, I used to live there. So Rock Chalk Jayhawk, they used a lot of Lawrencians for extras, and they trucked a lot of ash and rubble and dirt into the town to make it look like it had been surviving a fallout.
Well, the first thing that I noticed was, why are people in Lawrence, Kansas talking like they're from Tennessee?
Right. not even Tennessee, like deeper south than that.
I mean, I've been to Lawrence, Kansas. Nobody in Kansas talks with a southern accent.
They don't have accents.
So I don't know why they thought all the people in this town were like the equivalent of redneck southerners.
It's funny because it's more of an amalgam of Americana, because the opening
They did that on
scenes
purpose, yeah.
were just like heartland, tractors, apple pie, baseball.
For like 30 minutes. I mean, they keep doing it.
Yes,
right?
it's like, okay.
We got it. It's America. It's middle,
Yeah, it's...
Middle America, Americana. We got it.
That's funny. And then they have like dumb time and place stamps. Like, we care about how far away from the radius of the bomb.
That was to make it realistic.
Right. So the bomb is dropped on Kansas City.
One of the ICBMs
Right.
lands on Kansas City because of the Air Force Base, which has this nuke silos there. And so we don't know what else. But the funniest part about this is the characters that they've set up are such a weird section of Americans. So there's this family of horny youth, right? The redneck family with a horny youth.
Well, they're getting married the next day.
But she goes and runs off with the Goot.
Yeah.
So she goes for Steve Gutenberg, right?
No.
Yes, she does.
Not till later.
I know.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm saying is that, like, her only concern in the apocalypse is to find a mate.
Yeah.
Like, that's all she...
Her fiance got bombed, I think.
Oh, did he get hot dogged?
Yeah.
Because in this movie, everybody who is in the vicinity of the radiation, which is everybody in the movie, gets cooked. Mm-hmm. And to me, they all look like hot dogs. So
yeah, they have like burnt skin.
Radiation just makes you basically like a hot dog. That's all I can figure from it.
Do you remember the generic Church of the Brethren?
Yes.
So it's your
They were like,
everyday
we need a church.
Yeah.
We need a church that fits all middle America. How about the Church of the Brethren?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, and there's some weird scenes in an art museum. So when they're establishing the normalcy of day-to-day life in America, they're in this museum and there's some weird paintings going on, like the guy and everything.
Yeah, Jason Robards' daughter is an artist who wants to move in with her boyfriend. So we're already noticing an interesting portrayal of the shift in morals between the older generation of... This would be the pre-boomers, right? This would be the greatest generation. Like, they're upset about the youth wanting to live together. It comes up 3 times in the movie. Mm-hmm. So there's specific moral things.
And the dad is trying to subdue his daughter.
Yes.
Like the night before their wedding.
Right.
Like, and she's like, I don't answer to you anymore.
Yeah. So and the Jason Robards' daughter says, I want to move in with my boyfriend. And he's like,
Well, I can't tell you you can.
He's like the most smoky, like annoying voice. Like I can do that one. That one I can do pretty good.
How about the little sister named Jolene? Jolene.
So there's the older sister shouts her name constantly, which again, we kept singing the Dolly Parton song. But
so in the midst of everyday life happening, they're getting these updates of wars and rumors of wars, just like we're getting right this second.
Well, they thought it was really clever to show the pale horse out in the field.
That's true.
Pale horse, right? The apocalypse.
Autistic metaphors.
This might be on here for you guys. So let me see if I can find it. No, not the day after tomorrow. Yeah. So sometimes these, old movies are. Okay, here it is. I don't know if it's all here on YouTube or not, but. No, I guess it's not on YouTube. Anyway, go ahead.
Let's see. So people are evacuating Moscow. They're getting ready for conflict, and everyone's like, "Well, what do we do?" And the daughter that's supposed to be getting married reverts into some kind of childlike state.
That was weird. Yeah, she suddenly reversed to a childlike state.
And like, tell me what to do, Daddy.
So I think they were trying to show that if America went into this extreme of a war scenario, that people would just be losing their mind. They would be traumatized and things would go nuts. And that's what happens in this movie.
Yeah.
And then Steve Gutenberg just kind of like wanders into town, right? He just wanders into town, ends up in the basement with this farm family, and suddenly he's macking on this chick, right? Like,
so
bizarre, like blows in, right? This is before he enters police academy, I guess. Like, He was kind of a drifter, and then this is how he ends up in police academy.
You know what they never said, unless I missed it, because this movie's kind of dull and you lose your attention span. But who fired first? Did you catch that?
The Russians. We absorbed the nuclear strike, which is weird because this is before the Clinton, what is it, PDD 60, we absorb a nuclear strike first doctrine.
Okay.
So it's weird that they had that in. I don't know that they were intended to reference that Clinton doctrine, but the point is that for some reason we got nuked first and then we respond.
Okay.
It doesn't really say why it's us first, but it had to do with whatever's happening on the news in East Germany.
Okay. So there was an EMP before the mushroom cloud.
Well, the EMP is because of the nuclear strike, or the nuke opening up in the atmosphere.
Oh, okay.
So supposedly when a nuke goes off, it's going to do an EMP burst, which would first shut off all the electronics.
I don't understand how a thing is supposed to make it from Kansas to Moscow in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know how fast missiles go, but I mean, like, that doesn't seem right.
That seems really sus.
They're like,
there's gonna be bombs coming from Moscow within 30 minutes.
Yeah.
30 minutes, really?
I don't think anything could go that fast in 30 minutes, but I'm not
what does the internet
missile
say?
person.
You're not a science person.
All,
don't science at me. You're sciencing at me, and I don't believe that you know the science.
Right.
So how fast?
So they're trying to say that Kansas to Moscow
an ICBM. Yeah, right.
Can get there in 30 minutes or less. Like a pizza, a freaking Domino's missile.
Well, it says they go 15,000 miles an hour.
Okay.
So if Moscow is 7,000 miles away, then the science machine says you're wrong.
Okay, I guess.
Ooh, you just got
15,000
debunked.
miles an hour?
You just got debunked. Jamie got science debunked.
I just said it was sus. I didn't say I didn't know.
I'm getting on Reddit tonight, man. I mean, I love science. What WTF? I love science now.
I love how
I effing love science now.
If you are in the vicinity of a nuclear explosion, you immediately turn into an X-ray, and people can see your bones, and then you turn to ash.
I kind of like the logic of that. Like, I mean, I don't think that's at all what would happen, but I think they were sitting around like, how can we make it look like everybody got radiated and like zapped?
Yeah.
Do like an X-ray. Yeah, dude. Like, we would see everybody's skeletons.
Do you remember in Terminator 2 when she's hanging on the fence, like a skeleton hanging on the fence?
Mm-hmm. In Terminator 2. What?
When she gets visions of the bomb.
Oh, Linda Hamilman.
Yeah. And she's at the park.
Lantern Hamiljaw.
And she's looking through the chain link fence and you know what I'm talking about? The skeleton?
Yes.
Okay.
When the nuke goes off.
You didn't know about when Arnold does the thumbs up into the
I didn't remember
melting
this.
pot. Yeah. That's like one of the most classic scenes of all time.
Arnold does thumbs up.
He's getting melted.
But why would he do a
because
thumbs up?
he's evil and he can't exist and he's dangerous.
So he's like, actually, I agree with this. Is that what it means?
No, it's like goodbye. It's something the human taught him. Remember? Oh. You have to watch it again, I guess.
That's part 2, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you told me that, and I don't doubt you, but I was trying to remember why in the plot would it be the case that he would do a thumbs up? But is that because of the scene where he's like, no, it means, hey, okay,
yeah,
that's good job.
Exactly, yeah. And so when he's melting, then he gives him a thumbs up. What were you talking about, Lookout Mountain?
So this has a lot of stock footage in it, right? Which, again, we know this is a garbage movie, but a lot of people don't know that the A-bomb original images of that stuff, you know, when you see the trees going like this and you see the little house going turning to dust. Those are all filmed. I'm at least some of them are filmed at Lookout Mountain, which makes it sus. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So now everybody's cooked within an 80-mile radius or something, or.
Yeah, there's nothing really else. Is there anything else in this movie relevant? I mean, this movie is
I
pretty
would like
bad.
to hear you sing a radioactive song. Waking up
I
Ash and
don't
dust.
remember how it goes except
In
radioactive.
the prison butt.
Prison
This
butt.
is it. The apocalypse.
Prison butt?
Prison bus.
I thought you
Whoa.
said prison butt. I was like, why would that be in that song? Gross.
I'm waking up.
Yeah, it made me think of this song, but I can't remember how it goes.
Feel it in my bones.
So, yeah, that's it. So basically, this
Welcome
movie
to
is not
the
actually. It's just about everybody getting cooked in the middle of Middle America, getting cooked.
Except if you have a quilt, that will protect you. Remember that guy with the quilt?
I don't know. Something radiation just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it.
I don't either. I don't understand how it works. The hospitals are overrun, just like... I mean, this is what people think Kufid is like. When the hospital...
Yeah, so civilization is just wrecked. And they crowd everybody into the
Lawrence Hospital.
No, the dome, like Katrina.
On campus, they
And
put
why
them
would
in the gym.
But why would everybody be in the gym?
That's what I want to know.
And it makes no sense because on the one hand, everybody's radioactive. Why are we putting everybody in the gym together? Secondly, like you said, like just go home, dude. Like, what's the point of like you want to be in a worse situation where you're crowded in a gym with everybody else cooked, smelling like hot dogs,
Yeah.
trying to sleep, farting all night in the gym full of 55,000 people. I mean, it just sounds like a nightmare, and it just makes no sense, right? And I think the whole point of this movie, again, is not to be coherent, not to be consistent. I don't know what the science is on this. I mean, who knows, right? But it just seems so outlandish. The whole point of this movie was to scare everybody. And I feel positive that this was promoted under the Reagan era administration to scare the crap out of everybody that the Soviets were going to at any moment just do this in this movie. But it's so ridiculous. It is alternative 3 level stuff, because if you watched alternative 3, you're like, people really fell for this. They thought this is so dumb. It's obviously so fake. How did people fall for this? Mm-hmm. But we're going to see that this is a theme with many of these disaster movies, especially when it comes to moon stuff. I mean, the actual events of Moonfall are almost as comical as like the official playing golf on the moon story. Mm-hmm. I think the disaster moon movies troll us. That's what I think.
You know what's disturbing?
What's it? Well, there's more notes. What else is this in?
It's like, who does that to an orange? Okay, so the nurse and the doctor are at the hospital, and the doctor's losing his mind because there's too many patients, and he has to like process everything that's happened, and he can't save everybody, and she's peeling an orange with a knife like Psycho.
I like how in the disaster movie where literally everyone is dying, the thing that bothers you is how the orange was peeled.
I mean, who does that? You don't take an orange and peel it with a knife? Like, that's crazy.
It is crazy, but it's funny to me that that's the thing that really bothered you from this movie. Not Jason Robards and Steve Guttenberg being cooked like hot dogs, but that.
No. She's incorrectly handling that fruit. He makes a comment about how roaches...
Would you eat a Steve Guttenberger?
No. Would you eat roaches? Because
Guttenbergers, because he gets cooked.
they can survive.
You know, like, come on. Steve Guttenberg, you got cooked.
Oh my God.
Guttenbergers.
I get it. I got it.
I thought I had a really clever thing that popped in my head. I guess it wasn't that good.
I was just trying to say something about roaches.
What was it?
That they were talking about how the roaches can survive anything.
That comes up in everything. It's
I
dumb.
know.
It's such a stupid thing. Because of evolution, right?
So roaches can survive. Who else can survive? Beyonce?
Let me put these glasses on because it's all about science tonight. I mean, these movies are all about the power of science. So I'm gonna put my science glasses on. Go ahead.
I was just thinking about who else can survive. Country boys can survive.
What do you mean? The nukes?
Yeah, with roaches.
Well, like the only people that make it is like the farming family with Gutenberg in the basement.
I'm joking. Remember that
no, but I mean,
song?
do they make it or not? I don't remember. Does anybody make it in this? They all
partially, because then they're all falling apart like Jeff Goldblum in The Fly.
Oh, that's right. Everybody gets turned
And
into
all
like,
their hair's falling out, and their hot dog skin is peeling, and their teeth are falling out.
Everybody ends up being Toxic Avenger, basically.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And all the animals are dusty, and if you walk by them, they go poof into dust because they're dead. And then there was this really weird scene with this feral guy trying to get a drink of water, and everyone's pushing him away from the spout and then another guy has to threaten to shoot them so that the crazy guy can get a drink of water. It was very...
Well, they're trying to show that, like, oh my gosh, it'll be bedlam, right? I mean, we'll be we'll be killing each other over,
saltine crackers.
Saltine crackers, and then of course the farmer ends up getting shot. So I rescind my point because he didn't make it.
Right.
And we're supposed to think then that the roving band of like miscreants takes over the farm.
So even if you survive the initial thing, then you're going to have to fight all the crazy people.
Now we know why Steve Guttenberg went into police academy.
Because of the fallout.
No, because of the roving bands of crazy.
Oh, yeah.
He needed to learn,
So Steve Guttenberg is the Mad Max of Lawrence, Kansas.
He just blows through,
Right? Mm-hmm. They're reading the Revelation, but the church is all blown out.
Yeah, so they want to really... I think they wanted to tap into the evangelical end times, fear scenario, the imminent, end of the world scenario that at this time, Billy Graham was doing, nationwide football stadium evangelical sermons. And he was preaching and put out a book about the 4 hoofbeats of the apocalypse. So that Billy Graham was preaching end time stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The rapture's coming. Don't you know the rapture and the Antichrist are going to come at any time? Come down to the altar. Come down to the altar.
Well, you remember like Jack Van Impe and all those...
Yeah, but Billy Graham was
times.
doing the end time stuff before them.
Right.
Anyway, it's just something I remembered. And so that's why the movie specifically wanted to get the attention of the Christian audience, right? The 100 million people in America that watch this, thinking that it's the end times. And so there's like that whole scene that's taking place where the preacher is preaching from the apocalypse.
Mm-hmm. And then
it's like a dusty priest.
This one is kind of studded with like your 80s AB TV actors. John Lithgow's in this.
Yeah.
And he has some kind of philosophical thought about how World War IV is going to be fought with sticks and stones because now we're going into the Dark Age.
Yep. So, Great Reset. What do you know? John Lithgow predicted the Great Reset in the 1983 Day After film. Yeah. So, and then we've got Jo Beth Williams, the mom from Poltergeist. You've got Jason Robards, who's in a bunch of TV movies and TV shows. Steve Guttenberg was new, so he was about to do Police Academy. Then you've got... Who? So there's one more.
The mom from Poltergeist.
I just said her.
Oh. And the doctor and
John Lithgow. John Lithgow.
Yeah.
So they recruited some, stars of the time for this TV movie. But it's just so transparent that it's just next level Cold War propaganda. It's just preposterous.
Ugh. One of the least favorite tropes of mine is the whole, like, going into labor at the climax of the cataclysm, right? And the baby is born as everything is blowing. I hate that, man.
Why do you hate that?
Because it's terrifying and gross and, like,
well,
all of this is happening.
Somewhere in the world, there's going to be a baby being born. When
I know. I just hate watching that. Like, it's the worst. No.
So you're worried about how the oranges are peeled in the apocalypse.
Yes, and I don't want the babies being born when the bombs are going off. I don't want to have a baby in front of a bunch of radioactive.
Does it bother
like,
you that
weirdos.
The animals are all piles of dust?
The dusty animals, I did not like them. And the ending had a very Grapes of Wrathy kind of feel.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Where the old coot doctor is like losing his marbles because he can't handle what's going on. And he's being comforted by a stranger, and then it just ends.
Yeah, very dismal. It's like 1983's version of The Road, right?
Yeah.
People turn into like cannibals almost. I mean, they would have had cannibals in this if the TV censors had allowed it, I feel sure, because, I mean, this is just, it's super dismal and just terrible. But and on another level, it's kind of weird that we're covering this movie given what's in the news right now. I mean, all of the news about, Russia's...
It's the same characters.
Ukraine, is going to lead to the nukes that are going to nuke us. And it's just, it was weird that we watched this. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is
was this
Cold War.
40 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're using the same...
It's the same thing. Russia's about to nuke us scenarios.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It is weird. What do you give Day After? How many Jayhawks?
I mean, as a specimen of propaganda, it's pretty amazing. Actually, it's wild to if you know what's going on, look back on this, what we know about the CIA and Hollywood. Mm-hmm. You know, especially the Reagan administration putting a lot of pressure to make propaganda films in the Cold War. This one is wild.
That article you sent me said that the citizens of Lawrence, when they watched the screening, they all started crying. Because they were so scared.
This movie is so bad, dude. It's like...
I know, like, were they crying because
maybe
it was
they were
bad,
crying
or
because it was so bad,
scared?
right? But no, this scared the crap out of all the boomers. I don't know why. You go watch it now, and it's like, it will make you laugh. It's funny, but...
Yep.
The boomers were taught that at any moment, right, the nukes were going to land, and you better be afraid, right?
Well, at least Lawrence is safe, so go basketball and Rock Talk Jayhawk.
All right, let's get into more of the science. And by the way, I watched some videos of other reviewers, and there was a channel of like this, just those worst soy guy, like,
Tonight we're going to talk about the science of Moonfall.
dude, the science of Moonfall. Number one, the movie is ridiculous. Nothing about it is scientific, obviously. But all of the stuff that anybody who makes a video like that would believe is just as dumb as the stuff that's in Moonfall. Like the normal narrative about the Big Bang and how the planets form themselves by spinning for some reason. Mm-hmm. Like balls of lint in space, they just start spinning. And then it creates a planet over a million years. I mean, that's just as dumb or dumber. Actually, Moonfall's narrative and theology is more coherent than what most of the normies believe. That's what I realized from Moonfall.
Moonfall is interesting because it touches on a thing that has not made it through the whole conspiracy world, which is that the moon was built by aliens. I haven't read anything about it, but I've heard things on the periphery. So first,
doesn't David Icke say this?
Yes, David Icke has a whole thing
The
on
moon.
the moon, Saturn matrix.
The Saturn
And
matrix,
the
the
moon captures
moon.
souls or some crazy crap like that.
The moon is a pimped out ride for the cheetah. Ooh.
The moon traps you here, and the Saturn recycles your soul. I don't know. Okay.
The moon matrix.
And then you've
The
got
moon.
that book by the Freemason Stephen Knight called Who Built the Moon? And, well, the moon is really weird. Like, it has so many
That's true.
anomalies and
But
crazy stuff about it that it's worth investigating. But in the movie...
it's not a sphere that you get to ride around
In
in.
the Moonfall, the moon is a Dyson sphere, which is something we talked about on Rockfin a while ago.
Is that the
were
same
talking about...
Dyson that makes my air filter?
Yes. So vacuum cleaners.
So he
and
did vacuum cleaners
harnessing
and
the
moon.
power of stars
And he built the moon.
to create spaceships.
All right.
So hollow moon theory in this movie, which goes with hollow Earth theory. The moon is a Death Star slash.
I believe
no.
that over the Reddit normie narrative that the moon is a ball of lint in space that started spinning for a million years and then formed into a planet. And that's how all the planets form, by the way.
In this movie, the moon caused all of the life to come to Earth because it stabilized it.
Right, it's a machine that built the Earth. I've got my notes here. We need to get in my notes.
The AI told him the story.
You're getting way
okay,
ahead
we're
of us.
going.
You're getting too ahead. So, this is... So moon crap is just as dumb as everything else about space because space is fake and gay, as we all know. We know that we're not on good terms with space and the moon. So in 2011, Halle Berry or Haley Boppy was out there floating around floating around with Patrick Wilson as astronauts, and black goo nanotech attacked, and it dug a hole like a would-be into the moon. Remember that? Mm-hmm. So it's like a swarm of black goo nanotech digs a hole into the moon and wrecks the spaceship. Patrick Wilson takes the L. He gets blamed for it, right? And one thing that was weird, what?
The nanotech searches out organic matter inside of non-organic matter, and it kills it.
You're right. So it's a programmed assassin thing that goes throughout the universe trying to get rid of organic creatures, Orga or Mecha. And the first thing I noticed that was kind of weird was that the name of their mission or their ship or something, they were patches that are Aeon. That's the Gnostic idea of the Aeons, right? So we're living in a certain age or Aeon, and it'll be succeeded by, the Aeon of Aquarius, the Aeon of Horus, right? So I do think Roland Emmerich is hinting at that esoteric stuff like he did in 2012, right? With the Blavatsky civilizations being overturned by civilizations. This is the same idea with Aeon, and Patrick Wilson is going to be the new Aeon. I mean, he's the man of the new Aeon together with Halle Berry, oddly enough.
Yes.
And so I'm watching this movie, and I noticed, I'm like, how is this going to tie into this? And this movie goes in a crazy direction. I mean, I didn't expect it to go in the direction that... it doesn't make it a good movie, but it goes weird, dude. Like, it gets really into, like, Gnostic Aeon stuff.
Yeah.
That I didn't expect.
So...
It also...
in the beginning... What?
It also reference... you go ahead.
In the beginning, Halle Berry and the other hero, what was his name?
Patrick Wilson.
They get attacked, like you said, and then when they get back to Earth, NASA denies their story, and then he's a disgraced hero. But NASA knew the truth is that he was telling the truth.
Yeah, and they cover up.
And they do a
Shocker,
cover-up.
right.
Yeah, and so, like, fast forward 10 years to present day, now he's, like, a fallen... disgraced.
He's just a loser.
Yeah.
He can't pay his rent, bro.
Right.
Can't even pay his rent.
And he's estranged from his family.
Yes.
Shocker.
Everybody's estranged from their family. Everybody's families are breaking up. And again, as we know, the only thing that heals families and divorces and father-son relationships is the moon. The moon crashing into the earth is a good way to heal a marriage.
The only thing that can save the world from utter annihilation is a single dad.
You're a single mom. Don't be bigot. Don't be a bigot.
Well, not in Hollywood.
So this movie actually kind of takes us down a weird NASA rabbit hole, and they even talk about and reference. I think the main conspiracy, the chunky dude, is like, "Oh, you haven't been down the NASA rabbit hole, have you? Oh, have you been down the NASA rabbit hole?" Right? Remember him saying that?
Sam from Game of Thrones.
Yes, and he talks about the NASA rabbit hole.
Yes.
And then we find out he's an online conspiracy theorist.
Shocker.
Here's your archetype.
And hacker.
And he's a computer hacker
man.
Mm-hmm. And he has this conspiracy theory called structuralism.
Mm-hmm.
Structuralism is his theory that the moon was built by aliens. And it's an alien. It's basically just a pimped out sphere that you ride around in.
Yeah.
It's a sphere.
It's Dyson sphere.
It's a pimped out sphere because it's got like weed growing in it, remember?
Yes! They were making fun. Okay, so one of the funniest scenes in this movie was when he got together with his like conspiracy group. And
so he held a convention at like a Holiday Inn for his conspiracy crowd.
That conspiracy convention was too.
It was like every
in real life.
It was like every conspiracy convention.
Yeah, I was like, "Whoa, dude!" They had the characters all.
Whoever wrote this, maybe Roland Emmerich like sneaks into conspiracy conventions or something. But yeah, it was perfect. And so he's up there doing his conspiracy spiel about the moon, and they come in and like, okay, we agree. Finally, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And then some redneck dude stands up and goes, "It was Lee Harvey Oswald."
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was actually kind of clever.
You know what we didn't talk about that I watched that would fit in this genre too was Don't Look Up. Do you remember?
It would, yeah. I think we mentioned it briefly because I fell asleep. You watched the whole thing and took notes. And it put me to sleep, but I mean, within 20 minutes, I was like, this is just a propaganda.
This reminded me a lot of Don't Look Up in some ways, because all of these also have the one, like, nerdy basement dweller who figures out before anyone else with his Cheeto dust fingers that the world is going to end. Like, he already knew, like, last year what was happening.
Right. There's always that character that has it figured out via his web conspiracies, right?
Yeah.
And that reminds me, Don't Look Up is today's version of Day After. Yes. Because even though Don't Look Up is kind of funny, trying to be funny and satirical and kind of poking fun at itself, it's doing the same thing propaganda-wise because that whole movie was a green agenda. Yes. Too many people, if we don't listen to science, right? Yeah. And it was all that. So if you supported Toronto Dump, then you said, "Don't look up." And all the science people were like, look up. It's the science. Look up, right?
Leo and Jennifer, what's her name?
J-Law.
Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah.
J-Law, baby. You got to know your A-listers. Come on now. What does this say? I can't read my own notes. Well, I was trying to write in the theater in the dark, so I can't read my notes.
It's hieroglyphics, man.
It is hieroglyphics. Singularity. Oh, so they mention AI singularity, right? So the way they start speculating as they've noticed this black goo and as the moon is shifting its poles and whatever the moon does, right? I don't believe in... Science is not real. There's no such thing as science.
It's spinning
So,
out of orbit.
I don't listen to the science about the moon, right?
It's going into spirals.
The moon is doing something other, right?
Yeah.
Than science says it has to do. So now everybody's freaking out because the Earth is beginning to have, weird swirling pools everywhere out of the middle of nowhere, right? What else is going on? Tsunamis are going on. Mm-hmm. The tides are basically
all the
screwed
usual
up.
disasters are
right.
happening because the moon controls all
Moon's
that.
going wild.
Buck wild moon.
Buck wild moon. Moon's like, screw y'all, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
No, the Moon's like, screw y'all, I'm coming down there. Mm-hmm. And he does. He scrapes. Remember when he scrapes a mountain?
Yeah.
The moon comes down and scrapes the top of a mountain.
So here is another stepdad who had to die in the stupidest way possible. Do you remember?
Stepdad.
The stepdad was trying to get the family into the tunnel.
The fake John Leguizamo guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he gave the girl his oxygen tank when he could have shared it, and both walked into the... It was really stupid.
Somebody had a good point about why were they having a shootout with oxygen tanks? That's probably not a very good idea, right?
Yeah.
There was another note though. Hold on. So let's go back to the moon. I think there's several Kubrick-ish references in this. Did you notice that there's a few Kubrick themes? I think we're supposed to think about it like it's 2001 and the moon monolith. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Remember how when Patrick Wilson has the revelation when he's in the moon, and it's like he's put in this white room.
Yeah.
I thought that was very Kubrick-ish.
Yes, that was the room from 2001
Exactly.
where he sees his child self, or he sees his son. Do
you remember the weed tunnel?
Yes.
He's like, my body was right. They've got weed inside the moon.
Yeah, there's vegetation growing inside the Dyson
Oh,
sphere.
that's because when you go to conspiracy conventions, you will meet the weed smoking dreadlock white dude who's like, dude, bro, the moon, the moon is a freaking machine that you could ride, dude. It's like a Dyson sphere, and they have weed in there.
Yeah.
Right.
They have forests of weed inside
There's
the moon.
forests of weed inside the moon, bro.
Yeah.
Seriously, right? And then it turns out there's actually forests of weed inside the moon. It's like, what?
Okay, so when he's in the Kubrick room, the AI of the Dyson Sphere moon tells him the story of humanity, which is that
Gnostic Aeon.
it was seeded long ago in a place far, far away, and they got to such a technologically advanced place that they created AI, and the AI rebelled against them. And then there was a good AI faction and a bad AI faction, and this is the remnants of what we are.
Yeah. So if you saw Battlestar Galactica, it's basically the plot of Battlestar Galactica, right? Mm-hmm. Because that series ends with, you don't know what's going on. There's been these references to the gods. And a new civilization starts when they finally get away from the Cylons. And, shocker, I'm going to reveal everybody, Battlestar Galactica. It's Adam and Eve. So the beginning, where they land on Earth and build the new civilization is the Garden of Eden. Mm-hmm. So the show had all these references to the gods, and that's where in human history the gods come from, is the space myth that was our ancestors flying around in space, right? Mm-hmm. So in this movie, it's similar to that, where our ancestors were the gods that we think of in terms of the Greek pagan gods. They were on other planets, and they seeded us here via AI, which the moon is a giant AI ark.
Yes.
It's the Ark of Noah. It's an ark in space.
Yep.
Which Roland Emmerich loves. Moonraker level stuff. And the Earth is the moon is a planet building machine. Did you remember that?
Yeah.
So the moon is like this thing that builds the Earth, which
Yes.
that was like, it was out there, man.
It panspermeates
It's out there, dude.
the planet.
Yes. And like Jamie said, so there's 2 AIs. So this immediately turns into something pretty out there. Like it's a totally Gnostic aeon, just like 2012 Blavatsky. This is like Gnostic space aeons, right? Mm-hmm. It's Battlestar Galactica.
And then the fat nerdy guy, when he sacrifices himself, he
Spoiler
is
alert.
downloaded into the
Yes.
technology, and he can live forever inside the Moon Dyson sphere.
So then it has the transhumanist element, which again was referenced earlier in the film of the technological singularity, because they're speculating about what the nanotech black goo is that's floating around, and they're like, it could be a future singularity that's occurred that we don't even know about. And then ironically, the singularity occurs at the end of the film, where resurrection happens via the chunky conspiracy dude getting his consciousness downloaded into the moon, which is a big AI. So it's basically a big zip drive.
Yes.
And if you remember, this was the plot of 2010. Remember? 2010 was also a Luciferian Gnostic Aeon story about planets being seeded by big black monoliths. And what are the monoliths? They're big zip drives in space. They're servers in space that you can download your consciousness into, because Bowman gets uploaded into the monolith. Remember? And he comes back to his mom on the TV screen.
Yes, and he's brushing her hair as a ghost.
It's so stupid, right? So ghosts are just AI versions of us in the future, like Interstellar, right?
Yeah.
What if aliens was just us in the future?
That's this.
Yeah,
This.
That's good.
That's what this is.
Yeah. So this fits in with a chapter I was writing a long time ago when I started seeing this trend in the 2010s about the AI savior. The replacement for Christ is the good AI, such as Transformers, such as WALL-E, such as the Matrix,
Terminator Salvation has the Ben Witherington character as half human, half Terminator.
Yes.
And he's the one that saves the race.
And Blade Runner.
Yes.
And so all of these movies are featuring that artificial intelligence will destroy us, but it will also save us at the same time, because that's the only thing that can.
In Interstellar, it's the savior.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just gave you a bunch of examples of that.
And in this, it's the savior.
Yeah.
Moon is an arc. NASA should. I don't know what that says. That's probably a good note, but I can't read it.
But we can never go back to the moon because we lost the technology and we burnt up all the records and the pictures.
The rocks are all admittedly fake, by the way.
We dismantled all the rockets except for that
and
flimsy foil.
They lost the footage.
They lost the footage. If you ever go to Smithsonian, you can see the lunar lander. It just looks like something you could make from Home Depot for like $200.
It's Mystery Science Theater level.
Yes.
So we get a mix of ancient aliens, Gnostic, Luciferian aeons, transhumanism. It's like Ray Kurzweil stuff comes in. And so the black goo conspiracy theory, which I think is fascinating, I guess is supposed to be the equivalent of gray goo, which Kurzweil talks about in his books. Mm-hmm. He says we'll either have gray goo, black goo, green goo, or something that will be like the self-replicating nanotech that will take over. That's the black goo for some people. But then there is a recurring odd theme in conspiracy shows and movies of black goo. It has taken on a life of its own as its own little sort of conspiracy niche thing in the last few years. There's that German dude, Harold Karlsweller, who talks about the black goo. And let me tell you about the black goo. It is self-sentient, replicating nanotech that is alien. That's how this guy talks, right? So,
yeah.
So you had him on. You had him on one time.
Yeah.
You've talked to that guy.
I know.
It's the black goo. I don't really have any view on this. I don't think there's sentient black goo. There could be weird nanotech at the end of the world or something. I don't know.
What was that movie with Scarlett Johansson and the black goo?
Transcendence. I did an analysis.
And she turned into a flash drive at the end.
No. Sorry, Lucy.
Yeah.
Lucy is terrible and funny. Luc Besson movie. I did an analysis of Lucy back when it's on the
black goo
website.
in it.
Yeah, she the
becomes,
black goo like baptizes her.
Yeah.
And usually it is some kind of like reverse baptism. Remember Beyond the Black Rainbow? Mm-hmm. The dude goes through a black goo Luciferian baptism. Mm-hmm. Which is a good movie, by the way. It's the dude that did Mandy.
So does that bad guy in Dune.
The Baron?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, kind of is. But so Black Goo was in X-Files, right? It figured prominently in that film as a form of the alien virus.
What about Venom?
X-Files. Venom is Black Goo. Yes, he's an alien demonic sentient being. I mean, it's in a bunch of movies, man. I can't even think of all of them. But also Transcendence. Remember Johnny Depp Transcendence? Mm-hmm. That's also similar to this because he becomes self-replicating nanotech when he gets uploaded. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Skynet, that's AI coming alive.
Is there black goo in Matrix?
No.
That's another one where the technology saves because it rebuilds Neo.
Yeah.
And her when they died, remember?
In the new one, Matrix Resurrection, they become immortal. So, yeah. Shocker. Yeah, so... But I think also in the 80s, black goo would pop up at times in cartoons and movies. I think originally because they wanted to demonize oil. Mm-hmm. So, like Fern Gully, doesn't it have black goo that's evil oil coming out of the earth?
Yeah.
So, in Fern Gully, they were trying to tell kids that oil was evil black goo that comes out of the earth that's toxic. And then they had the oil leaks. Remember those? And the Time Magazine and all the publications would demonize oil
spill.
As if oil itself was toxic when it comes out of the freaking earth.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's just ridiculous type stuff, right? With what they... I remember when they had the BP oil thing that blew up in the Gulf. All of the news and people were saying that the Gulf is ruined. No one will ever be able to go back to the Gulf. That was all total bullshit. I mean, it's kind of amazing. Do you remember how big that was, the BP oil disaster?
Yeah.
In, 2013 or 14?
Yeah.
It's referenced in the movie The Knowing before it happens, by the way, in the Nick Cage movie. So they were saying, like, you can never go back to the Gulf. I had, Mark, I had a buddy that lived down there. And he was all worried about it. I'm like, I don't know, dude. This is like, it's just going to be nothing. Nobody even remembers this stupid thing. Well, it was like the biggest story for 6 months.
What they don't talk about, the real environmental disaster, is all the petrochemicals that run through the Mississippi River into the Delta, into the Gulf. That is the real killer, not an oil spill. But oil spills do kill animals. No,
but that would be like when the oil tankers spill the processed petrol or whatever, but the oil that comes out of the ground is not toxic.
No, like crude oil.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they were acting like when the BP oil spill thing was happening, that the whole Gulf, they said it all over the news for months. The Gulf is ruined. Americans will never be able to go back to the Gulf. I mean, I remember all this stuff and because Alex was talking about it at the time, he was covering it, and I'm like, this is crazy. What's going on? And whoa, how was it predicted in the Nick Cage movie? And then I started thinking, wait, this might be bullshit, dude. This might just be exaggerated. Nobody even remembers this thing. It didn't do anything.
Do you remember Fukushima and how that was supposed to be? That goes along with Day After.
That was also the whole West Coast is destroyed. Yeah. California's gone. All of West Coast.
The whole Pacific Ocean is dead now.
All this, it always gets blown up like this, right? So that's why I think a lot of people kind of tune out of the news eventually, especially if you've been following the news like me for 20 years. I mean, you just immediately kind of default to like, yeah, right, whatever. But long story short, is there black goo? I don't know. I don't think there is.